Welcome in, world, to your favorite show. It is Views from the Stands on a Saturday morning. I'm your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and I got my two partners with me, the GM, George Mike, and Brandon BC, and we are live, and it is football time, baby.
Yes, sir. You already
Let's
know
go,
what it is, baby. Forget them Gators, man.
It is a big day for football today. Go ahead, my man. You want to get into this too? I know. Go ahead, G Mike. It is a big day for football.
No, I got a lot to say, but I'll save it for later. But how you guys doing? How you guys feeling this Saturday morning?
Hey, I am hyped, my man. I am hyped and ready to go, bro. We got Miami and Florida today, so you know I'm ready to go.
Yep, I'm ready to get USF season underway. I think this is going to be a very promising season for the Bulls. We'll get into a little bit some of those spoilers later on, but I'm excited and ready to get college football ready to go. It's game day.
And he's lying to y'all, man. He's wearing green because of UN, bro. Don't be lying, dog.
Man, George, you got a pair of eyes, right? You can see that ain't no Miami right here, bro. Come on, man.
I don't see no USF there, bro. I don't see nothing.
Get your eyes checked, man. Come on.
Well, honestly, we really appreciate all the support you guys have given us, and any newcomers that we got to the show, welcome in. Please, as always, like and subscribe to all of our channels. We're on TikTok, we're on Spotify, we're on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. So we really appreciate it, and we're even on Twitch as well. That's mainly George's thing down there. The easiest way to find out what we got going on is click the bell. It's going to let you know, and every time we go live, which we pretty much like to do all the time, we are going to take you there. So we appreciate all that you've done for us. And today we got a huge show. We got some UF and Miami talk. We got some Georgia Clemson. We have another installment of the Dad Bad Debates. Or Down Bad Debates, excuse me, which is a lot of fun. I'll get that right eventually. I'm just not that cool. And and lastly, we got any kind of news from around the sports. But before we jump into that, we got to pay some bills. G Mike, why don't you let the people know what you got going on?
Yes, sir, man. Guys, I run a Telegram channel where we charge $5 a month to give you sports gambling slips daily. Try to get you $10 to $50 to $100 of winning each and every day. I'm going to put the link in the chat right there. If you on the live feed, you'll see it there at the bottom or the side of your screen, whichever it's at. But if not, if you don't see it there on the recorded episode, I have the link as well. And then you can hit me up on one of my socials and we'll get a convo going and we'll get you started.
Absolutely. I love it. BC, what you got going on too, my man?
I mean, shoot, Brandis.media, man. Y'all already know. We make memories that last a lifetime. My wife and I, it's our small business right there. She does the photography. I do the videography. Sometimes she lets me do a little bit of still images here and there. But we've been doing this now for just over a year. Been working weddings, booking weddings, engagements, left, right, and center. So, hey, if you or somebody you know has got that big question they want to ask, or if they got that special day coming up, hit us up at brandes.media.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a little love in the air, man? Man, we had a lot of big news to get into, and so we're going to go ahead and jump into that. We got the Golden State Warriors agreeing to a large deal for the man, Steph Curry. It's only a short-term deal. It's a 1-year, $62.6 million contract, which, man, what a year it's been for Steph, honestly. He came off that fresh winning off the gold medal for the first time, and now gets a year extension that's going to keep him there through the 2026-2027 year. So shout out to Steph Curry out there. I personally think that he should have been the MVP. Now LeBron, that's the last few games when it actually matters. Steph was absolutely amazing in showing that why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. G-Mike, do you like this deal for the Warriors, man? It's keeping Steph in his home.
Dude, man, forget about the Warriors, man. I think Steph deserves it 100%, especially the way he played over the summer for the Paris Olympics, man. This guy was going off. I agree. I agree in a little slight chance that, you know, if it wasn't Braun, you give it to Curry for sure because he showed out and he put the team on his back, I think like 2 or 3 games in the fourth quarter. But, you know, LeBron was doing his thing too. You know, he was out there trying to get these wins, and he was doing his job as well. But just for Curry, man, hey, man, yo, $62.6 million for just a 1-year extension. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's the most ever an NBA player has ever gotten for a 1-year extension. And he still has 2 years remaining on a 4-year deal, $15 million that he signed back in 2021 of August. So this guy's going to go through, he's going to go into his 40s, making $60 million plus a year. It's insane.
BC, buddy, $62 million for a player that's aging a little bit, but Steph doesn't seem like he's really aging out of the league or anything. He still is super relevant. Do you like the deal for them?
I like the deal. Well, first of all, for Steph Curry, I love the deal because, like George said, like it's been long overdue. He's a guy that deserves his flowers. The greatest shooter of all time, one of the greatest offensive players of all time. He definitely deserves the money. And as far as though too, like his game aging, like I think that he's going to be approaching 40 by the time this contract ends if he's not already there. But the thing is, the way he plays basketball, it ages so well. He's not a player that relies on his athleticism a lot. Never really relied on his defensive abilities. He's always been more of a cerebral player, always been more of a shooter. And that I think that's going to work really well. Now, yeah, he might lose a step here or there when it comes to running around, the gravity that he has, but he's still going to command that level of respect on when Warriors are on offense, just because wherever he's at on the floor, he's going to hit. As far as from the Warriors' perspective, though, I gotta say, like it's a lot of money to get to one person. I know the salary cap's always ballooning, it's always expanding, but I will say, at least right now, it's a position that they're not really geared to win this year or next year, maybe. But I will say, like as he's getting closer towards that retirement age, you're gonna want to start having more money come in, and the salary cap is gonna balloon by then. So hopefully, by the end of that contract, by the time it gets to that $62 million, they'll have enough cap space to where they can bring in some more stars around him, supplement him, and maybe help him get ring number 5.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to actually say that you've absolutely changed the game. There's only a few people in the actual NBA that can actually say that. Jordan has his thing, but Steph honestly changed the way basketball is played from now. It trickles all the way down to youth. It trickles down to everybody wants to shoot threes now. I remember growing up, it was everybody wants to dunk and make layups. The Jordan and Vince Carter era, if you will, of the dunkers. Now everybody wants to be a shooter, and it's mainly because of Steph Curry, the stuff he's able to do. So absolutely deserved. That is a lot of money. I hope the Warriors have been very good about contracts in the past. So that one's going to be kind of interesting to see how it goes. And it is only 1 year, so it is a lot of money. Eventually, they're going to have to pivot away from Curry in the next couple of years, but that's not here and that's not right now. So shout out to Steph Curry for getting that deal and getting that Olympic gold out there.
See our boy.
Man, that wasn't the only thing going on this week, man. We had the college football season start off on Thursday, and it started off with a bang. The Colorado Primes, also known as the Colorado Buffaloes, kicked off the season Thursday against the North Dakota State Bison. Man, and them Bison gave it everything they had. They came up a little bit short, losing 26-31. But shout out to North Dakota State out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Anytime those boys come to play, they absolutely come to play, man. They never back down from anybody. No game is ever too big for them. Having said that, though, man, Colorado was great, but it really comes down to some of the star players they had, and we cannot forget about Shedeur, as always going to give you more Sanders, and the other two-way phenom, defense and offensive player, Travis Hunter. Shedeur Sanders went 26 of 34, 445 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a QBR of 83.4. With that, we can't also forget about the other man out there, Travis Hunter, who had 7 receptions for 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, an average of 18.9 yards per reception. Oh, and if he didn't do enough, he also had 3 solo tackles on defense. Man, what is your thoughts on Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and just Colorado in general, man? It's a big season for him, G-Mike.
Yeah, man. I mean, that first game, they really showed out. Shedeur Sanders, I love the calmness and the poise that he has when he steps back and he just looks for his receivers. He doesn't force anything. He gives whatever is given to him, he goes with. Travis Hunter is a baller. He's a dog. There's a reason why he has that D on his jersey. And dude, man, this guy will catch anything that is thrown at him. And he plays both sides of the ball. The guy, I heard that he loses about 4,800 calories a game. So this guy's out there just running like if he's running track and field. And it's awesome to see. Honestly, I don't think that we'll pivot into the NFL. I think that he's going to have to pick a side. And if I am a betting man. So I would pick that he will go in the receiver route. I feel like he's way better there than he is on defense, even though on defense he's spectacular, of course. But I think just on offense, he's that much better. And, dude, he put the team on his back. He even said it after the game. He was like, man, you know what? Just throw me the ball. Let's get it. We're going to win this game right here. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, BC, man. I like the point that George brought up because I know you love defense, man. Do you think this can translate into the NFL?
I'm gonna have to agree with George a little bit there. Like I know obviously the hype around like having an Iron Man that can do both sides of the ball. It's very exciting. I mean, we've seen guys in the NFL that, forget about playing both sides of the ball, that they play multiple positions on one side of the ball. And they've kind of struggled a little bit. Isaiah Simmons comes to mind, kind of finding a role. And I think that that's something that, again, in college, it works. It's great. But I do think that as you get closer to the league, you are going to have to specialize a little bit. You're going to have to find that one position that you can lock in at, that you're like, okay, this is my best spot. I'm going to focus in on here. While I'm in college, yeah, sure, I'll play both sides of the ball. I'm going to help my team out. But for his career's sake, he's going to have to pick one side or the other. And I do agree with George. I think wide receiver is the best bet for him. And for Colorado in general, I think that this win, it's North Dakota State. A lot of people want to, throw shade at them. But hey, shout out to them. Shout out my boy Hunter Brosio from North Dakota State, former alumni from Victory Christian Academy. Dude is fullback, long snapper on that team. Phenomenal athlete, phenomenal human being. Just wanted to give a shout out to him. But, it was a good win for Colorado. I know, last year they got a lot of crap for, the season that they had, all the hype they had at the beginning, and then it was a massive letdown. So, you gotta take any win you can get, and you gotta take any positive momentum. And I think that that's something that if you're Colorado, you want to forget about last year and you want to build off of it and make a better season moving forward and prove to everybody that the hype is real. It starts in week 1.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like with Colorado, they really got to work on their run game, man, because if there's just going to be a passing offense, like other teams that are better, way better in the NCAA, they're going to come in and they're going to like just show everyone that, yo, if you guys are not running the ball as well as passing the ball, like, dude, you guys are not going to be able to score as much or win that many games. And then their defense, they're doing well. The secondary was doing great against the pass, but they couldn't do anything to stop the QB from running the ball. This guy had like 16 carries at like 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it was just like, all right, yeah, you don't want to give up the deep ball. You don't want to give up the pass. But then again, you got to be able to stop the run because you can't just let them run all over you.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the team looked impressive. I was more, honestly, if I had to pick a side, I was more impressed with North Dakota State being able to hang with him. But having said that, though, I do find Colorado as a team that is a lot of hype. I don't think that I think their season's pretty much gonna be the same way it was last year, where they started off making a lot of noise, looking really great. I do think Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are just flat out amazing athletes, and I'm excited to see what's going to translate to them next year. But it does bring up a point of Coach Prime. We were talking about Travis Hunter and playing both positions. He does have a decent mentor. Let's not forget that Deion Sanders did dabble a little bit in wide receiver. It was very brief, but Deion Sanders was also a 2-sport player. Deion Sanders also played for the Atlanta Falcons and was a damn good player for the Atlanta Falcons as well. So that is maybe an interesting aspect to that. I wonder if he's able to maybe talk him into, or maybe he lets him know, like, how would you pay that guy if that was the case? Has there ever been another guy like that can actually accomplish that in today's market? What are you going to label him as? It was hard enough for the tight ends tight ends wanting wide receiver money because they're catching passes now. So that's going to be an interesting aspect to it. I think that there's another interesting aspect to the Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter is Deion Sanders as well, that he's also made it very clear and public as of a couple of days ago that these two players are only going to go to certain teams, or they're not going to go to certain teams. He hasn't announced which ones they are or which ones they're not. But do you think this is smart for them to allow Deion to be making these kind of moves, BC?
I mean, it really does depend. Like you're talking about these guys' careers, like in your head coach's hand right here. And again, I get it for the college sense, but like going to the pros and stuff, and your college coach has that much sway, like that much say in your career. Like I don't know. Like I'm all for players and coaches having, the ability to, choose for themselves and everything, but there is kind of a fine line. And, how do we balance that out with letting the players just decide instead of letting your coach speak for you? I understand in college, you're still developing as a young adult, but you are still, you're your own person. You should be able to speak for yourself, not have your coach really do it for you. And I was going to say too, hopping back to what you were talking about with Coach Prime, and then with, playing multiple positions and everything. I think that his skills as a wide receiver definitely helped him out in the NFL playing defensive back. The ability to be able to catch, and then on top of that, being able to return picks for touchdowns. That was a big part of his game. So I think that being able to play multiple positions is a good thing to have when you go to specialize, because then you retain some of those abilities. Like playing wide receiver, if you know as a defensive back the certain traits, certain characteristics that you're looking for, that you have to have on that side of the ball. When you play offense now, you're already looking like, okay, this guy shaded my inside. I'm gonna go run an out route real quick. Okay, this guy's trying to keep me from the sideline. I'm just gonna go straight across the middle. It's like those little things that you learn, those nuances to the game from playing a different position, I think will help you out when it does come time to turn pro and to specialize.
Yeah, G Mike, man. What you got any thoughts on Dion with making those statements, man? That's a bold statements there, man.
Yeah, just to allude to what BC just said, great points, because I agree wholeheartedly. Like, you have those special skill sets from both sides of the ball. You could definitely use them on either side of the ball that he picks to play on. And if you have great hands, you're going to be a great corner. You're going to try to get some picks like Darrelle Revis and stuff, or Jalen Ramsey. But just sticking with what Dion said, I think there's like two sides to it. I think that what Dion says, that he truly believes, and the fact that like they're not just going to go to any team. But then I think that these young gentlemen, they have their own mindset. So they're going to make their own decisions. They're going to weigh in the pros and the cons, and maybe they want to be a number one pick. And if that number one pick ends up going to, let's say, Tennessee Titans or Carolina Panthers again, or whatever, like they're going to be like, yeah, it's not the team that I want to go to, but number one pick in the league, and you get crazy signing bonus, you get crazy deal. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to make their own decisions. Yeah, Prime is saying this. I feel like he's just trying to lure these teams to try to get them. But at the end of the day, they're going to make their own decision. And I'm pretty sure Prime knows that. He's like, you know what? It's on them. They want to do what they want to do. That's their path.
So, I agree. I think he's just trying to look in his mind. I think he's trying to look out for the best possible position for his son and their best player to not go to certain teams. Personally, I think it's more of a play for Dion. Honestly, I think that he sees the writing on the wall that they're going to leave and Colorado is not going to be good. So I think it's going to be a package deal. Hey, you want my son? I'll be your coach. There's a lot of teams out there that would take that publicity and that would maybe want to have Dion up there. I think Dion personally fits more of the pro game than he does the college game anyways. But that's neither here nor there. That's a little bit TBD. We'll see how that one goes, man. But so we're going to move from that one, man, to a game that means a whole lot to us on this show right now. And if you haven't caught on, it's the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Florida Gators in the Swamp. So just a little bit of classes in session for you since we're talking about the college game. Here's a little bit of history. The in-state rivalry started back in 1930 and it lasted each year until 1987. After the 87 season, they didn't play again until 2021. Miami actually leads the series 29-27, with Florida winning the last meeting, which I remember very much because that same day was the day Andrew Luck retired. So that was a bittersweet day for me. The largest victory was Florida, 46-6 in the 1940 season. And honestly, who doesn't remember the 1940 season? It was such fun memories we all had. And one last little fact about this rivalry game, it's for the Seminole War canoe, which is whittled out of a 200-year-old Everglades cypress tree that's 200 years old that was struck by lightning. You guys didn't think you guys were going to learn anything because class was in session on a Saturday morning.
Honestly,
I knew that you were going to be hyped about this game. It is your city, MIA. It is your team, man. Sure. What you got, man?
Hey, man, I got, I'm going to be biased and I'm going to take the Miami Hurricanes, man. I got to. But I will say, I think it's going to be a close game to the end. If you guys are trying to put in any slips, I would say to try to take Gators plus 7.5. So that means that the Gators cannot lose by 8 points. I think that would be a safe bet right there. If the odds are high, I haven't checked the odds. If the odds are high, try to put it in a parlay. But just with the game itself, Hurricanes are bringing in new guys on both sides of the ball. Even at quarterback, Cam Ward from Washington State, that he was pretty good over there. He replaces Tyler Van Dyke. I think that's very exciting for us Canes fans. I think we're looking very forward to that. When it comes to just the Florida Gators, though, they lose Trevor Etienne. He goes to Georgia. I think that's got a big blow to their offense. And last year they had a 5-7 season. So, things are not going to get that easier from here. But with the Gators season, I feel like they have a lot of room of improvement. And I think they'll finish better than 5-7. I think they'll get anywhere from 9 to 11 wins. With UM, it's one of those years, man, that we really hope that we could get in the college football playoffs, because now it's a 12-team format. So, there's a lot of room for a lot of teams to fit in there. And I think Miami has to be one of them because, man, it's so many years been going down the road since like 2001 national championship, man. We need some fresh air, man. We need some fresh air.
BC, I know you're a big USF guy down there, and you can already see that you represent the team well. What's your thoughts on this game, man? I know it's kind of hard to talk about another in-state team, but what's your thoughts on this one, man?
No, I mean, like I love the in-state rivalries. Obviously, this is the best part about college football is the rivalries. Just the like you were spelling out the history. I love learning about the history. I love learning about the trophies that they have. I knew it was the Seminole War Canoe was the trophy. I just didn't realize like it was the history behind that. I think that's such a cool thing, and I'm glad that they're giving some of these rivalries back. I don't know why. The thing that upsets me the most is when you have a great rivalry, a long-standing rivalry like USF and UCF, War on I-4. When they discontinue it for a period of time, it's like, why? What are we doing? Like, this is the best part about college football. But as far as the game is concerned,
honestly, it comes down to money, of course, money and logistics. But I mean, you're in state, you should be playing a lot more often. I totally agree with you. But honestly,
even in the NFL, I feel like the NFL division should be more like Miami, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville should be in one division.
Yep. Like maybe throw Atlanta in there as like the South.
Dude, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. For instance, let's go. We'll take Jacksonville, we'll take Houston, and we'll take Tennessee. Oh, and then we'll throw the Midwestern Indianapolis in there just for giggles.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all either. But anyways, Brandon, we digress from the NFL. Obviously, we're making this about college today, my man. So continue.
No, I was just saying, as far as this game itself is concerned, I definitely think that it's going to be a close one. Both teams are, trying, obviously vying for, to be better than last year. They're wanting to make that step into perhaps college football playoff. I will say, I think that the environment for this game in particular is going to play a huge factor. Obviously, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is one of the toughest stadiums in all of college football to play. The Swamp, it is not easy. 85 to 90,000, if I'm not mistaken, just diehard screaming Gators fans. It's gonna be a tough fight for Miami for sure.
It's closer to 96, but I mean, who's counting? No big deal.
You're the guy that would know, man. So
you're not even going to the game. What kind of fan are you, dude?
I will say with that being said, I know George was alluding to his pick for earlier. I think that for myself, just being kind of on the outside observer, I got to give the slight nod to Florida just because of the home environment. I think that that's going to play the biggest factor in this game.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's been well documented about Florida's schedule this year. It's arguably the hardest in college football, with just the SEC slate alone. But I think there's more to Florida than just the schedule. That's already happened. That's established. You know who you're going to have to play, so you have to come out there and play it. I think starting off against a ranked in-state opponent is going to be a massive opportunity for both teams here. If Florida can pull off the victory at home, which I agree with Brandon, I think is going to be a humongous factor, because if you've ever been to a Ben Hill Griffin on a game day, especially a rivalry game day, it is one of the loudest places you'll ever hear. People have been tailgating since probably yesterday. So people are going to be ready to go. And it's at a 3:30 kickoff time, so that's a perfect time. It's going to be great for the fans. But there's so much more to this game. Florida last year started 7 freshmen, so there'll be a little bit more season this year. Graham Mertz is also coming into a second season with this program, so he's going to look a hell of a lot more comfortable and a lot better than he did. They did lose Ricky Pearsall, but another X factor that Florida does have, which reminds me about the 2006-2008 season, they do have DJ Langway waiting in the corners, who's a 5-star athlete who is electric as hell. So I think they're going to do what they did with Curtis Leak and Tim Tebow back in that era. You can run certain plays with certain guys, and then it throws the defense off. You don't know what they're actually going to do. So I think that's going to be a major factor coming into this game. But there's another storyline. It's both coaches. Stop me if you've heard this one before, G-Mike. Mario Cristobal has a great recruiting class, and yet somehow in a winnable ACC conference, they have not even made it to the ACC championship since he's been there. I think this game comes down to the coaching, and this game is going to be huge for the coaches. Both coaches are under pressure. Mario Cristobal came in, being a UM guy, came in with a lot of pressure and was thought to be the savior. He's done well for recruiting, which was supposed to be one of his big things, and he's had a lot of help with NIL deals, but just hasn't been able to make it to the promised land. Now, on the other hand, you got Florida, who Billy Napier took over for Dan Mullen, who some fans thought that he should have got a longer stretch, but it was time for him to go. And then they brought in Billy Napier, who was supposed to be this amazing recruiter. Florida's recruiting hasn't been exactly what they thought it was going to be for Billy Napier. I do think that the Florida fans need to calm it down a little bit and let this actually play out. I love Billy Napier's demeanor with the players. I think that he's really good with the media. The problem is that 2006 and 2008 were the last time they won the championships, and that was a long time ago. They've been to a couple of SEC championship appearances, but let's face it, they played Alabama in their heyday. Never really had a chance in there. They've brought in some good players, Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask. There you go. They've had some great players in there, but you can't keep on just getting rid of the coach and expecting that things are just going to turn around just like that. Napier, I think deserves a little bit of credit, but he also deserves a little bit of the heat that Florida's given him. But maybe we just pump the brakes on him a little bit, man. He's a good coach, and he's only been there for a short amount of time. He's just starting to get into his recruiting, and then on top of it too, they had that recruiting violation also. So it's it's tough to say. I think that Florida is going to eke out the win. I think it's going to be a tough, hard-fought game. It is going to be a lot of fun down in the swamp. I can tell you that right now. Mike, what do you think, man? Mario Cristobal, is he your guy or what?
Dude, man, I don't know, man. I can't really tell you. At the end of the day, it's true what you're saying. Yeah, he does great in the recruiting aspect, but dude, we need wins. That's all what it is about. Every single sport, it's all about wins. At the end of the day, we're trying to get to another national championship game, and the last few years, it just hasn't been it. And dude, if it's not now, then when is it gonna be?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I can't really tell you if he's the guy or not, but like I like the fact that he's trying. He's bringing in good players, but there's got to be maybe some offensive coordinator changes or defensive coordinator changes because last year wasn't working, and you could only go on the previous year. You can't really go back 3 years because it's just like you go for the most recent one, and the most recent year we didn't even get to a bowl game. So it's just like.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of both of our teams here are kind of living in the past a little bit. That at one point in time, they both were extremely dominant. And Florida, I think, needs to come to the realization that they haven't been dominant in quite some time. So it's not always Billy Napier's fault. These guys are going to, as Dave Johnson alludes over here, shout out to Dave for checking in over here about the Longhorns. Longhorns have been great for the last couple of years and only getting better. So players are looking at these teams. For instance, Texas, you got Georgia's, you got Ohio State's, that are just getting the better recruits. So I think Miami, Florida are both in there, that they have the cachet and the we used to be great, but we need to get back to understanding that it takes some time to get good again. PC, man, what's your thoughts on the coaches down there, man?
No, I mean, I agree with you guys 100%. Like a lot of times people get caught up in, having these 1 or 2 year skids where you're not quite as good as you once were, but you gotta be patient. It's a long game. It's just like with the pros. We see so many times coaches getting fired left, right, and center because they're not producing in 1 to 2 years. And it's just, you have to be patient with your coaches. You got to be patient with them. Let them build a system. Let them build a community there that, a culture there that's going to be, it's going to win. And it's going to take time. You're going to go through those ebbs and flows. It's nothing no other coach has done before. Not every single, I guess, college program can have a Nick Saban where he's 10, 20 years of just dominance at year after year. Sometimes you're going to have seasons where you go 1-11, you go 0-12. It happens. And it's just, as a program, sometimes you got to be willing to hit the reset button a little bit after time, but then you have to give your team some time. You got to give your program some time to be able to develop the coaching staff, to develop the players they want, and you'll get there. Patience plays off in the long run, I think, in every sport.
Yeah, what's really ironic, you brought up the Nick Sabans of the world. It's kind of ironic. It's a lot almost like Bill Belichick in the NFL. Their assistants, for as great as coaches are, don't seem to be successful. The only one that's really been successful, per se, has been Kirby Smart. Steve Sarkisian has been pretty good with Nick Saban, but it's kind of ironic how some of these guys that are such great coaches, their assistants don't seem to pan out very well. So yeah, that's a very interesting aspect, which also leads us into the next big game that we're going to be talking about here. Then Kirby Smart and those number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Clemson Tigers. And man, this game has Georgia is just coming in with so much hype. You guys honestly think that there is anything stopping this Georgia train, BC? What's your thoughts, man? They have just been so damn dominant.
They have, and the only things that have really stopped them have been teams that have been in conference, the Alabamas of the world. That's pretty much the only teams that have been able to derail their momentum. Ones that know them well, that play them so many times. It's a very, I guess, you get kind of intimate, knowledge of the team. That's pretty much it. And this year, obviously with Nick Saban stepping down, a new coaching staff there. Yes, Alabama still has Milroe. The offense is still explosive, but trying to learn a new system there could throw a wrench into the plans. And I don't really see a lot of other teams that, again, that know Georgia so well that I could see getting the upset or, stopping them at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And honestly, Georgia has done something that doesn't really happen, especially in a transfer world in college football that we live in right now. Georgia has been able to maintain, and they just produce and produce and produce, man. It is absolutely insane what they've been able to do. G Mike, what's your thoughts on this Georgia Clemson game, man?
Dude, I think Georgia is going to take it by 2 touchdowns or more, man. I think that Georgia, after last season, comparing both teams to last season, Georgia was ranked in the top 5 in scoring offense, and they were ranked in the top 5 of not letting offenses score. And then when it comes to Clemson, they were like 40 something on offense in the college football, and then for defense, they were like 30th. So it's just like they're not as good as Georgia for sure. Clemson is not going to be in the hunt in this one, in my opinion. I think, like I said, lose by 2 touchdowns or more. And dude, man, and I love the fact that it sucks for you because I know you lost Trevor Etienne, but I love the fact that they gained him because he is a dog, and this guy will run over anybody, and he's going to get him a lot of rushing touchdowns.
When you say a dog, is that like a pun? Like he's a Georgia Bulldog? Thank you. You're welcome out there. You're welcome out there. I'm full of puns.
That's not what I meant.
Anyways, yeah, man. So what's interesting with Clemson too is that Clemson had their little run as well. But I think Clemson's default has almost been Dabo Swinney, who was ironic that he took over the program and was the savior of the program. But Dabo Swinney seems to be stuck, and he's been in the media with the transfer portal. He just doesn't believe in it. He doesn't want to do it. And I don't know if it's a result of him just not thinking that he's a greater recruiter than anybody else, but he just doesn't seem like he wants to evolve with how the NIL deals and how college football is changing. BC, what's your thoughts on Dabo, man? Is it time for them to move on from Dabo, or how many more seasons do they allow this to go on? They're number 14 in the country.
Delusion, man. It's an epidemic. It's plaguing a lot of coaches and a lot of sports, not just football. But no, I again, just speaking back to earlier what I was saying with regards to patience, I do think that, again, you need to give him some time. Everybody deserves a chance to adapt and evolve. I will say that as you're getting, I'm not saying that, he's on the hot seat right now, but if they continue to kind of slip and fall in the standings this year, I'm going to say like that seat's going to start getting warmer and warmer. And if he doesn't adapt, he's going to get left behind, for better or worse. It's his own devices. Like he's going to be nobody but his own worst enemy in this case. So give him, I think he'll be given a little bit more time, but if again, they need to tread carefully this year.
I think after this year, if they don't get back to the ACC championship, I think they're going to let him go. I think it's already been enough. And Clemson's been last year, they didn't even look that good. That game against Florida State, they were just throwing slants and running 2-yard carries. They weren't really doing as much on offense, creating and trying to make deep ball plays, medium ball plays. And it's just like, if you're not out there trying to create against these college defenses that are I'm not gonna say way worse, but they're worse than NFL defenses that you can actually do a lot of trick plays on offense and try to get some big time plays. If you're just taking advantage of the slants and just a 2-yard run game, bro, you're not gonna really be doing much to try to get either in the playoffs or to the national championship.
Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, I feel like Dabo is more suited for an NFL gig than he is for college. Let's not forget, when Dabo, he brought the team along, but he also had 2, at the time, seemed like generational quarterbacks. He had Trevor Lawrence and he had Deshaun Watson pretty much back to back. There was so many great athletes coming there. So I don't know if it's a product of he's a great coach or, like we always say, your players are what makes you, So I can't really tell with Dabo on that one. I think it's pretty much what it goes without saying. I don't really think that Clemson's going to be able to pull off the upset here. Georgia is just way too stacked, way too good for this. BC, you got any pick on this game?
I got dogs. Dogs by 2 tutties at least.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, you already said it.
Dogs.
2 touchdowns, said, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got that money line too, baby. Minus 350. So put it in a parlay.
Well, anybody out there watching live, you're more than welcome to leave some comments out there too. We'd love to hear from you guys. We've already had Dave check in, and we can hear from you guys and talk live as we're going. So we've already talked about it before. The college football is expanding to 12 teams now, so that it makes a lot of opportunity for a lot more teams. We want to go over a couple teams that we think that possibly could make it into the college football playoff or just make some noise out there. BC, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first. You already alluded to you had a surprise you want to talk about. What you got?
I've got a couple teams. Again, we're going sleeper picks. These are not teams that are going to be general favorites by anybody. So anybody that's going to be like, oh my gosh, you think these guys are going to make it? Like, chill. These are sleeper picks, unexpected. All right. It's supposed to be that way where, controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff wrote a book on it. Chill in the comment section. Or
chill, doggy, chill.
It's not that serious. Or you can come at me. I don't care. I'm feeling dangerous today.
Just make sure to comment, like, and share, please.
Yes.
And subscribe.
Yes. Any publicity is better than no publicity. But anyway, I digress. That being said, I took this and kind of divided it into two sections. One that is Power 4 conference and one that's more of a group of 5, just to kind of get some variety. So for my Power 4 pick, I alluded to them earlier. It's going to be UCF Knights. Funny enough, yep, that's right. I got that real national champions ring. It's got my name on it and everything. I was on the squad. You can see it right here for yourself. Don't fact check me on that. It's not fake at all. It's 100% real. But no, I like you.
It's messed up that they didn't give it to them though, bro. Like it's messed up.
I know.
And like, dude, man,
what's messed up is that I'm playing both sides of the rivalry right here.
You had 2 national championships that winner. How the hell does that happen?
Man!
And they're undefeated. I really think they should have given them a chance. Really.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
They should have, and I think that the CFB is long overdue because of that fact. Like I think they deserve to at least prove themselves. But this year.
Hold on. You know how many pissed off UCF fans are out there because you brought that up right now? And on top of it as well is that's a whole other subject too, because the 12 team is what they've been bitching for and wanting because they would have been able to get a chance in there. And now they're just too little too late whenever that squad was amazing.
Oh, I'm pissing off UCF and USF fans. UCF for bringing it up and then UCF for wearing that ring.
No, what's messed up though, when you go on Google and you look up the 2017 national champions, it's not them. But then you go to their stadium. And
it is. Well, then they threw a parade at Disney too. Like that was.
Yeah.
I was actually going to UCF at the time as well, and like the police cars even said 2017 national champion on there.
Championship winners.
That was absolutely genius. Marketing though, whoever came up with that idea, absolutely genius, and there was no way to necessarily deny it nor debunk it.
It is true. It is true.
They went undefeated and never had the opportunity. I don't know if they would have been able to do it. They had a damn good squad though. They had a chance.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I think at the very least, like they would have upset they would have upset at least one of the teams in that playoff. Would they have won the championship? That has yet to be seen. But I think that at the very least, they make some noise in that playoff for sure. But
give them the chance, at least. Give them the chance.
Well, and funny, though, too, like with the marketing, I was like, man, whoever was in charge of the marketing for the national championship, they're probably like in charge of marketing for a Fortune 500 company right now. That's just that next level. But I digress. UCF this year, though, last year they struggled a lot moving to a new conference and everything. This year, though, I think they're going to find their footing. I think they're going to do really well out in the Big 12. They'll make some noise. A lot of the big matchups that they struggled with last year, and a lot of the big matchups on the docket this year for them, they've got it at home. They've got home field advantage. They're playing Utah, Arizona at home, and the bounce house. It's big over there. Like they've got a very underrated home stadium, and I think that's going to be. Big thing and help them. I like the running back quarterback combo. You got KJ Jefferson, RJ Harvey. Gus Malzahn is going to be, a really good head coach when it comes to running the ball. And I like the combo they have. I think that they can make some noise for sure. And I think that, it could be the thing that maybe tips them over the top. You see some big names struggling. You see maybe your Floridas, your Miamis. You see like maybe even some of the higher up Big 12 teams struggling. They could find a way to sneak themselves into that conference championship, maybe into a playoff spot. And then my second team, I would say it's not really going to be much of a surprise. My group of 5 team, I got to go USF. I like the schedule that they have this year. I think that, got to do horns up right there. I like, I do think the recruiting class they have is a little bit
I
underrated.
said we were talking about heavy metal. I got excited there. What were we doing now? I got lost. We're throwing horns up.
He was about a freaking head nod.
Hey, like I instructed you guys last week, it's go ahead and snap your neck to this.
Oh my gosh. But all seriousness though, I like the schedule that USF has. I like the recruiting class they got. I like the fact that a lot of their players are back on the squad. The offense was fantastic last year. Their weak spot was defense. It was porous. Offense was top 10. Defense was bottom 5. Not a lot of starters really left on offense, and they've got some good recruits. Defense, I think they're shoring it up a lot. The run defense, I think, is going to look a lot better this year. They got a new nose tackle that's very stout. I think that he's going to play a big factor there. The one X factor I think for USF is going to be their pass rush. I think that if they got a lot of tackles for loss last year, but they didn't really get to the quarterback, get those sacks. So if they could find a way to step up and get those, I think the defense is going to be much improved. And then just looking at the matchups they have on paper, a lot of the big ones, Alabama on the road. It's one that I think will be close, even if it's Alabama. The fact that they have a lot of new pieces, new head coach, new system. I think that if there's any chance for an upset, I think that that's a good one to have. Do I think it's actually going to happen? Probably not. We can count that as an L. Miami, it's an unfavorable matchup. However, you're playing it at home. So I think that does help kind of tip the scales a little bit. But those would be, I think, the two. I'm just saying, like if you're looking, you've got home field advantage, that'll make it close. A lot of people thought that Bama was going to blow us out last year, and we held them up until that second half when they called it for rain and lightning, and then they scored those 2 touchdowns. One of them was in garbage time, man. We were
they pulled the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl on you.
They did, man.
Turned off the lights.
It's a conspiracy theory, man. I don't have
for sure.
Break it out soon, but I will say though that it could be again a chance to kind of sneak up a couple wins. I'm not expecting it, but who knows? But the rest of the schedule, honestly, all of these games I think are very winnable for them, whether you're at home or on the road. A lot of the major losses they had last year, the teams that they lost to, they're playing at home now. So I think that's something as well. Like you're improving on, the offense is getting even better. The defense is going to start taking some steps. And then again, a lot of those unfavorable matchups you had last year, you're not playing at home. So I could see them getting a 10-2 record, maybe an 11-1, depending on how one of those 2 primetime games go. And then you're talking about playing in your conference championship, winning the conference championship. I think that as far as the group of 5 conferences go, the American Athletic is going to be the best of the bunch. So I could see USF being that representative.
Man, that was probably the longest anybody's ever talked about USF in their existence of USF, man. Good stuff out there, man. Also, you brought up UCF a little bit ago as being a surprise team. I'm really looking forward to that game, UCF in Florida. That's going to be a fun game to watch, too. Sure. UCF did get the best of Florida last time they played. That was in one of those bowl games that no one was really paying attention to. But, hey, shout out to UCF out there for doing it, actually, out there. G-Mike, man, what do you got any surprise teams you want to talk about, man?
Yeah, but shout out to my boy George in the IG comments. He's like, it's all about Memphis, forget USF. And then he's talking about USF. I'm sorry, he said UCF. USF is going to be 6-6 at best, and they'll be playing in the Sacco Bowl.
All right, bro. I'll remember that. I got those. I'll have those receipts ready, man. This is what, episode 12?
Oh, man.
December.
Yeah, before you get started, too, I want to shout out on the comments from Facebook, too. We got Richard out there, man. Also in charge of Rockline basketball in Deltona. If you ever want to get your kids into some great basketball, find Richard and their team out there, man. They do amazing work. So I just want to give them a quick shout out, man. Great local company. They do a lot of good work out there too. So shout out to Richard out there, man. G-Mike, you're surprise teams, not supplies. Supplies.
I got the supplies, baby.
Supplies, baby.
Dude, for sure, I want to mention Miami for sure. Bringing in Cam Ward. I mean, I think there's going to be a significant improvement at quarterback for us this season, and got a lot of excitement for him. I know a lot of fans do as well. Hopefully, we can actually have a winning record and get into this college playoffs, man. 12 teams. It's time for us to get in and try to win some games. I can't really say that we'll go to the national championship game with all these good teams around, but at least getting in. Hey, sometimes you go to the beach, but you can't get in the water. Still going to go to the beach, though, and have a good day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But my surprise team for sure is going to be Boise State, because last year, after the firing of Andy Owls, and if I said that wrong, please correct me. After they fired him, they hired Spencer Danielson. And after that, they just started turning it on, bro. They started winning a lot of games, and they were just outside of the top 25 rankings, but they finished the season on a good mark. So I feel like they're going to come into this season, be like, yo, we had crazy momentum, crazy positive momentum going to the last few games of the season, going into the off season. Now let's ramp it up, let's keep it going, and let's go into this season. And I think they're going to make a college football playoff spot for sure.
Interesting. There's definitely some sleepers out there for sure. I'm going to go with a team that is already ranked, but it's got a lot of expectations for them. And I'm going to go with Utah. Utah's a really good team. They're in the Big 12 conference, which is one of the main conferences you want to be in. I feel like they're probably, I don't know, maybe third or fourth best and out of the power conferences. But Cam Rising is back. That guy feels like he's been playing college football since the 1940 Gator season. The last time they beat, they blew up Miami. Remember that, George? Yeah. But but having said that, though, I really like what Utah's doing up there. They got a great coach. Utah actually gets very loud in the stadium as well. It's not the biggest stadium, but their fans come hyped and ready to go each year. They got a favorable schedule this year, so I have a lot of expectations for Utah. So as a recap, I'm gonna take as a surprise team. I'm gonna go Utah to stay at number 12 and make it into the conference championships, make it into the college football playoff. G Mike, what's your surprise and who you got?
My surprise to Boise State.
Boise State. All right, I like it. Yeah. I like it. Brandon, what's yours, man?
I mean, it's no surprise at all, but from Power 4 conference, I got UCF, and then from Group of 5, I got USF.
Not bad. All interesting teams, man. Definitely all over the spectrum. And there's some definitely some fun games going to be played today as well, man. I'm looking forward to the whole weekend of college football before the NFL starts back up. So we're going to leave college football for a little bit and go back to a new segment that we started last week, which I'm going to have G Mike explain a little bit better because I am definitely not cool enough to say it right.
No, man, you got it.
Let's go.
Let's try.
Down bad debates,
yes.
Which means basically when the internet comes up with these topics of either keep, cut, trade, start, bench, cut, these fun topics in the internet that they love to get some comments going. So, we're going to bring it on to the show, and we got a good one today.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and present this one, man. From the House of Hoops Instagram page, pick one NBA move you want to happen. We got Steph to LA. We got Luka to Denver. We got LeBron and Dallas and Ant and Wemby teaming up. All right, G Mike, you found this one, my man. What you got?
All right, so I did it from first to last. What I would want to see first, obviously, that would be the one that I pick here. And I did it to the least that I would like to see. So for sure, I would love to see Steph go to LA. Steph Curry and LeBron James, they already showed us what they can do in the summer together in the Paris Olympics. I feel like they can do a lot more throughout a whole NBA season, NBA playoffs, and maybe even try to get to the Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals. I know there's a lot of Western teams out there that are really star-studded and, they can actually play ball. But, you put two generational talents on one team, and especially next to Anthony Davis, that he can be a top 5 player in this league when he's fully healthy. Dude, it'll be crazy to see. But the second one, I was thinking LeBron and Dallas. Bro, you put Bron back with Kyrie Irving and with Luka, I think that would be crazy. Maybe Bron could help Luka play a little more defense, even though he's a little old, but he has a lot of mentality on defense when he was playing the early years with the Cavs, with the Heat, so I'm pretty sure he could teach him a thing or two. Number 3 would be Luka to Denver. It would be dope to see him play with Jokic. I think Jokic would actually be smiling a lot during NBA games. I think he will show that he's having fun. It'll be dope to see them together. And then the least would be Ant and Wemby. I've never really thought about that collaboration right there, but I see why people bring it up. And looking like another MJ out there by the way he plays on offense. You got to get a little better defensively. And then Wemby, bro, this guy just blocks any shot that is right in front of him. This guy is going to be a double-double machine. I'm pretty sure he's going to probably drop a quadruple-double soon, maybe in the next year or the year after that. But, yeah, number 1, Steph to LA. 2, LeBron and Dallas. 3, Luka to Denver. And 4, Ant and Wemby together. I
like it. And, hey, for the record, Luka played one good defensive game in the finals, all right? One. You got one. But the other one
needs more than one.
The
He
other ones
needs
he was
more than
spelling
one,
out.
doggy. If
The
you
other
want
ones
to
he was
get a
spelling out, but I
championship, he needs
digress.
to play. He needs to
I
play more
digress.
defense.
All right, BC, what's your order and what's your thoughts, man?
Dude, mine is almost a complete inverse of George's right there. I'm thinking for me, like, a lot of this was based on more of like the younger players, the youth. So I mean, starting it off number I'm gonna go top, or bottom to top in this one, but number 4 I got LeBron in Dallas. I know a lot of people like the idea. I don't necessarily as much, just because you got 3 ball dominant players. I don't On paper it works, but when it comes to actually getting into the nitty gritty, like who's going to be playmaking, who's going to be feeding off each other, who's going to be the third star or third option that's just going to be setting out to the side, I don't really like the fit necessarily. So that one's got to be my number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go with Steph to LA, just because I think that that's a better, more smoothly run operation. Just because with Steph, you're not having to worry as much with the ball in his hands. He can just run around, go wherever you want. LeBron can drive in, kick it out. LeBron can drive in down the middle and then kick it out to Curry from like out to 3, and he's just like wide open just because he's been running around so much. And then you got AD cleaning up. I think that's a more smooth, more fluid team right there to manage. Number 2, I've got Luka to Denver. EuroLeague 2024 just has a great ring to it, I think. But I do like the idea of having him and Jokic together on a team. I do think that they can, they play similar styles, but from different positions on the court. Jokic is a good scorer, great playmaker. Same thing with Luka. However, they're operating in different spots. Luka's going to be more out on the perimeter. Jokic is going to be more in the post. So I like that. And then you've also got you got Murray as well on the outside that can have that secondary playmaker, scoring. And then finally, I'm going to go with Ant and Wemby. I like the idea of having 2 of the top young players in the league together on a team. And I'm also just a big fan of the guard and the center combination. Like it works out so well in NBA history. Obviously, like Shaq and Kobe, the most recent example. Not saying that that's who they would be, but again, the prospect of having 2 very young, very athletic, raw, two-way talents at the guard and in the center. It's, for me, if I'm building a franchise, it's too hard to pass up.
Yeah, before you go, Steve, the way that I went about it was like, me as an NBA fan, what would I like to see more? I didn't go into like analytical aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was my thought.
I think I would have gone a different route if I was like thinking what would be the better fit to win a championship.
Yeah, I was going to preface that as well, because theoretically, Dallas isn't getting rid of Luka without getting Murray or something along those lines.
Yeah, so exactly.
It wasn't that. If we're just going off of just pure NBA fun, how this would be, I think that's how I'm playing it too. So,
but I mean, hey, that's the difference between us right there, man. Some of us got a little bit more analytics to them. We're a little bit more dirty on this side, but that's all good.
Brandon just said,
I'm thinking about playing NBA 2K, and here you're trying to run a damn team.
Brandon just said, I ain't about the games today, my man. I ain't about the games. It's USF time.
Hey, man, I'm trying to channel my inner nerd. I'm quite cool.
There we go, man. All right, so then I'll go ahead and pick it up with mine right here. I'm going to go, I guess, 1 to 4, and then we'll recap just so everybody remembers what we had on here. So 1 to 4. Obviously, everybody knows I'm a huge Dallas Mavericks fan, so LeBron in Dallas, I love. There's been a lot of talk of this actually happening for the last couple of years. LeBron has flirted with coming to Dallas pretty much every time that there is every time he's almost a free agent. Dallas is always in the top 2-3, and for some reason he's never been able to make it work. Him and Cuban have a good relationship. I think with this right here, it would be kind of interesting, because I kind of feel like LeBron would almost end up being the point guard in this one and let Luka and Kyrie free roam the court. I think that would be kind of interesting. Or just a cool aspect of it as well is that you could have rotating out who's going to run the ball. The hardest part would be who's taking the last shot whenever the game mattered. Out of the 3 of them, I don't really know how that would be. Ideally, you'd want the young stud and Luka taking the last shot. But we're just playing the game here, so I don't really know how that would actually work out. So I'm going to go LeBron to Dallas would be fun. I like Luka to Denver as well. I agree with what George was saying too. If you've got a chance to check out any internet videos or anything, Luka and Jokic have this fun, really goofy relationship. Just 2 days ago, they were doing an exhibition game somewhere overseas, and Luka was looking around Luka was looking away, and Jokic poured water all down his back and did something else. Like, they just have this on and off again relationship where they're just having fun and goofing around. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And I agree with you, George, that it would show a lot more Jokic fun personality. So then my number 3 would be Steph to LA. Steph and LeBron together would be a great combo. It would be fun to watch. It's something that I wish we could have seen maybe a couple years ago when they're not on the tail ends of their careers, both playing still lights out. And then throwing Anthony Davis in the mix. Steph has never really, besides Draymond plays a little bit different from Anthony Davis. Steph has never really had a dominant guy in the middle in his game. So it would be interesting to see how his dynamic, how he would play. Maybe he shoots more threes because he's guaranteed to get the rebound. Be an interesting aspect. And Ant and Wemby. I love Wemby. I think he's going to be one of the futures of the NBA. I think he's going to be cool. Ant is really starting to irritate the hell out of me, so I'm kind of putting him last. He's just annoying the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. So that would be my last pick there. So we'll go ahead and start at the top there, George. Why don't you recap how you want to play this out?
Number 1, Steph to LA. I think that would be great to see what LeBron and Steph did over the summer. 2 to LeBron in Dallas. It would be great to see him pair up with Kyrie once again, and obviously a young stud in Luka. Number 3, Luka to Denver. Him playing with Jokic. To me, it would seem like they're like best friends on the court, and they'll be just having a great time. And then 4, Ant and Wemby. Never really thought about that one, but it would be a crazy killer combo for NBA defenses.
Go ahead, BC.
So for number 1, I've got the young duo Ant and Wemby. Number 2, I got EuroLeague 2024, Luka to Denver. Number 3, I got the most unfair duo in the league, Steph to LA, LeBron. And then number 4, I got the most dysfunctional team in NBA history, LeBron to Dallas.
All right, so I'm going to go LeBron in Dallas. I would just love to see it. LeBron has called Luka a young LeBron. Back in the day, he was also the first Luka whenever he got his LeBron when he got his own shoe deal. Luka was one of the first athletes he signed because he believes in him that much. And then I would like to see Luka to Denver. Pretty much what George was saying, that the just pure fun, Jokic and Luka getting to play. It'd be a lot of EuroLeague. Steph to LA, just that'd be a great duo seeing out there and seeing Steph have Anthony Davis and him and LeBron just seem like they have great chemistry. If you could watch the Olympics and reminded. And Ant and Wemby, I love Wemby, but can't stand Ant. So that's going to be my 4 right there. So, gentlemen, we have a jam-packed day of college football. I cannot wait. The season is starting. NFL football is coming around the corner. Is there any closing thoughts that you want to give, BC?
Other than, man, football's back. I'm excited. I know you guys are all excited out there. Let's just settle in. Let's enjoy the ride. And, hey, if your team's not doing well, just always look forward to next year, man.
Way to hit him in the gut right there.
Hey.
But yeah, man, football is back. We are excited. A week away from NFL football as well for most teams. But man, guys, if you guys like the show, please like, subscribe, and share. Please, that would mean a lot to us. It will help us out. If you want to show a little bit of excitement, come on the live show. Write in the comments. If you want to talk smack, go ahead and do that too. We love it. We'll put it up on the screen and we'll talk smack with you.
Yep.
Absolutely agree. And absolutely to piggyback on what G-Mike was saying, the live interaction is a lot of fun. You don't like the take, you're feeling bold, throw it in the comments and we can talk about it there. We're eventually going to get to a point where we actually can bring you on the show with us. So stay tuned for that coming up. We also, just like George was saying, please like and subscribe. We're doing this and we love it. And we really appreciate you guys out there watching. Just as a quick side note, so if you haven't caught on to the theme of today, we have UF and UM. So we alluded to it last week. G-Mike and myself are going to have a side view from the stands bet. We'll see the results next week, but the bet is going to be the loser of this game has to wear something of the opposite team the entire show. And here's the fun part. They have to sing a portion of the fight song for the opposite team live on the air. So you guys either going to get your mute buttons ready or turn it up loud because we're going to be making some music next week on the show. We're also going to be trying to kick.
Bring your earplugs, man. Bring your earplugs.
He's going to be singing American Idol out.
Absolutely.
That's what he's going to be doing.
Absolutely. Just as a little bit of our schedule is that's coming up, we're trying to work it out till we get 2 shows a week. We'll be doing a lot more heavier NFL coverage coming up with the NFL season starting. And Saturdays will be probably a little bit more college previewing into the NFL as well. So Saturday's going to be pretty much 10 a.m. Wake up with us. And like I said in the promo video, man, you know it goes great with some coffee, a little bit of views from the stands. We love you guys out there, and we really appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Get ready for some football.
Peace.
What's up?